and so we need to be careful, because we know that high levels of social media and needing that sort of likes and validation, we know from research that it leads to depression, lots of anxiety. I can't tell you
Yeah.
how many social media influencers have off themselves,
Mm.
because they have struggling with their mental health, and they're having all sorts of issues in their real life, like on Facebook, off of Facebook or any of these platforms. What are they doing? They're burying themselves into this addiction, which it can be.
Right.
It's addictive, because I have, it bings. I have to silence my phone. It just ding, 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 ding. The dopamine rush that you get. You have to be very cognizant of your connection with things that that's not real. Get into your real
Yes.
life. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick little break so we can continue. Yes, and people like that. We're going to take a break before we got a few more comments before break time. So Carrie Ann, thank you. Sharing the name of her show is called Healing Vibes, and she co-hosts it with King Solomon. And her comments about social media, indeed, especially if it's a negative and degrading comment. Yeah, that's some people wanting to get attention by being negative and degraded, and some people say, I was going to go there, but I'm not. I'll let maybe you two will bring it up. I was going to mention somebody who's very good at that, but I'm not going to mention their name unless you mention their name. So I'm not going to go there at the moment. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a 90-second break, and we'll be back on the Dr. Vibe Show. So we'll see you in 90 seconds.
And that's what I feel like. You feel like you're the Harry Tubman of the mind.
I am.
I feel like I'm the I'm one of the Harry Tubmans of intelligent Black people. Like, I want to liberate y'all from like being left behind and ignored and oblivion. No, really, the rappers get all the attention. Seriously, does anybody else feel this way? Like ignorant Black people, they'll be all up, getting all the headlines on the Shade Room.
Overly sexualized Black folks.
Like the twerkers and the just people that don't always represent the best of us. The diversity. Like people like Dr. Vibe. Like everybody should know about people like Dr. Vibe. Dr.
really
Vibe
should.
he's trying to do good work for Black people. Dr. Vibe from Toronto. Good to see you, my brother. Dr. Vibe. Everybody follow Dr. Vibe. He has a great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him. Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe show. Dr. Vibe is a real smart brother and a good human being. I like the guy a lot, and he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent Black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. A lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back. Helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Vibe is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Vibe show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway.
I love that clip. I never get tired of that clip. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're back, and we have Dr. Alicia and Dr. Tachi here in the house, and they are dropping knowledge bombs about celebrity relationships. And if it's any of our business, thank you, Dr. Tachi, for broadcasting this on your Facebook page and your YouTube page. So appreciate that. And I'm also going to turn the Instagram live on for a few minutes so people can catch some of this conversation live. So
Let's do it.
Let's just do it. Let's just put on let's see who's going to jump on the IG live. So we got it going on. We got a few more comments happening here right now. So let's see. Someone has a comment here. The food plane.
Hey.
Hello, everyone. DS, hello.
Yes.
Who's that person?
DS. DS is a media scoper. He is part of the Media Scope Massive, and he actually just started a YouTube channel of his own that's all dedicated to food. So definitely check him out and follow him. He is absolutely amazing. So thanks for being here.
Wonderful. Well, man, I love when friends, because I don't like to call people that come on the platform guests. They're friends.
They're friends.
And the food
yes.
plane, they're friends. So the food plane says, what a pleasant surprise. There you go. And Dr.
Yes.
Alicia is following on Instagram. She's got House of Dukes is following. Classic_C_gems is following. Dr. Patrice Little is following. Wow. Thank you, everybody. I'm waving to you all. So very good, very good. So you're catching some of this. If you want to catch the full conversation, because we're already halfway in, go to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, hit the follow or the subscribe and notification. You'll catch the whole thing. So what we're talking about today, again, is if celebrity relationships are any of our business. So, and Serena Wills is in the house. All right. This is very frequency event promotions are on IG Live. Someone wants to come on video. Oh, okay. We don't know. Maybe some. Okay. Someone says they want to come on. I wonder who it is. It goes on and off. Now let's focus on YouTube. So let's continue on with the conversation. So with this social media thing, people wanting attention, celebrities, I don't know why. Well, obviously celebrities want more attention so they can make more money or get more influence. Did I say something wrong, Dr. Tachi?
No, you're right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Do they? But we're Black people. Last I checked.
For real? I'm kidding.
and the thing is too, and I know Dr. Boyce quotes this, but there's been many surveys done that our people pay attention or influenced more by celebrities than any other culture in North America. So it just makes me think about this celebrity relationship thing, the impact rightly and wrongly that's happening on a number of Black people. Thoughts?
You want to go first, Dr. Alicia?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, that makes sense to me that it would be that way. And just think about, okay, so we're talking about celebrity couples. What about Michelle and Barack Obama? Don't they share about their relationship? Isn't it tasteful, the things that they share? They share it not just to like over communicate or give us too much information about their relationship, but they share it. But at the end of the paragraph, it's a lesson for all of us to take with us. Michelle in particular, when she talks about her relationship with Barack Obama, she's so much more relatable. It's almost like she's campaigning for president or something, because she's so great at what she says. She has a story. She shares these beautiful, funny stories about her children. It's relatable. And then she brings it back to, and your big takeaway is this. It's very tasteful. It's very classy. And the story makes sense. So kudos to Michelle and Barack. Perfect level of information, not too much, not too little. They're not mysterious, because I think I was talking about it earlier, where almost like Beyonce and Jay-Z, they never hardly ever talk much about their relationship publicly. Like, you don't hear too much. They're just kind of on their own. They say nothing at all. It's a mysterious thing for them. But Michelle and Barack, I think, is a wonderful example of just, it just makes sense what they share and what they, agree to divulge. Mm-hmm.
So just before you go any further, Dr. Patrice Little says about Barack and Michelle, they share to empower.
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Was.
Others share to embarrass. So, yes.
Dr. Tachi, go ahead. I just wanted to get that comment in from Dr. Patrice Little. What you say?
Well, no, but that was perfect. That makes sense. I think that if it feels like we are influenced by our celebrities, if it feels like we're influenced by Black celebrities, I think that's, again, a multi-layered thing. Number one, we create a lot of popular culture. So if you're going to be influenced by anybody, of course it makes sense, because all you have to do, and I'm going to use TikTok here as a model, most of the trends, most of the popular content that you see on TikTok, much of it is made by people of color, right? So just a numbers game. Of course, you're going to be influenced if a lot of the culture is made by you. So we make a lot of popular culture, so that makes sense. Number two, when you don't have a lot of other options for role models or people to look up to, you look up to those that you have in front of you. Now, that doesn't mean you don't. Obviously, you have the church, you have organizations, et cetera, et cetera. But for some people, those can also be polarizing. Not everybody has the opportunity to have business owners in their family that they can look up to. Not everybody has people that make a lot of money in their family and did so through hard work that they can look up to, or went to college and joined organizations, etc. So there's so many people, many of us that don't have that, but what do we have? Access to media, people that are kind of like us, that we can have parasocial relationships with. So I think that's also part of it. If it feels like we're influenced, it's also because we sometimes don't have a lot of choices for other types of influences. And even if we say, oh, they're there, well, such and such is a doctor. Okay. How often do you really see that? I think sometimes there's a lot of victim blaming when it comes to these things. How often do you get to see these people on a daily basis? It's going to a school and speaking one time, or even speaking, once a week. That can all get undone when they go home and they have to live reality. So I think we have to be, wise about the influences. But who do they see? The people on television, the people on social media. Those become the influences.
Before we go any further, just want to shout out some more people on IG. Birdie Lynn, Home by Melissa Mills, and Ann in the City. Thanks for jumping in and watching. And Ann in the City has just said so true by what Dr. Tachi and Dr. Alicia have just shared. So ladies are on fire. Ladies are on fire. I like being around people who are smarter than me. I love it. I love that.
Well, I feel the same way about the both of you. So.
Yeah, same here for sure.
Receive anything you wanting to add onto the comments that Dr. Tachi made, Dr. Alicia? Anything you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I do want to add something. I remember thinking about the different world, and I just remember, like, at the time when the different world was such a great, highly rated show, it was HBCU college attendance was at its peak during the time when the different world was on. So yeah, we are influenced by that. Wow. Denise went to college and Whitney and all these other people, they represent me too. I can relate to these individuals. So it made all of these other people, all of us want to go to college. I remember sitting in my dorm room, my first year in college, watching Different World. Like, oh, I'm like the Huxtables. I'm gonna be like the Huxtables because that's what I've seen. And so it's really nice to see myself in that way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it was the same thing. I remember when I was in high school, School Days had come. I was like a freshman.
Oh yeah.
I think I was in 8th grade or something like that. But School Days came out. And when I came back, I had to have been my first year of high school. When it came out on a Saturday. I got to school that Monday and everybody was stepping. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Because, my mother didn't take us to the movies. She's like, watch TV. So everybody was stepping and talking about, oh, I want to pledge this. I want to do that. And so Dr. Alicia, you're so right. It had such a profound effect on us, right? It had such a profound effect. But even then, it had a profound effect to those who thought it was actually possible. Does that make sense? So obviously, like where I went to school, I went to a Catholic school, a high school at first. So obviously, if you're going to a Catholic high school, you're paying tuition. That doesn't mean you're rich, but that means that you have some level of something beyond somebody who may be going to a public school. So for you, going to an HBCU and participating in that life is possible. I'm just thinking about those people that went to those the public schools that were probably not doing so well, who never saw that as possible, whose guidance counselors said, you should probably do X, Y, and Z because college. I had somebody when I was, first of all, I transferred to a public high school, and I already knew. I'm like, listen, I'm going. So they used to call me down to the office for scholarships, but they told my friend that, you should probably apply here because you wouldn't. I said, why would you listen to them? So I also had the background that wasn't, whatever wasn't going to affect me. I knew where I was going, but I'm thinking about those that didn't have that. So media works in the opposite way, where it just shows sometimes what is not possible for some people.
Okay, I'm gonna catch up with some comments. With all the knowledge bombs you've been dropping, I'm gonna now, because I'm a somewhat a Dr. Boyce disciple, I'm gonna put an economic twist on this. So we're gonna catch up with comments first. Frequency Event Promotion says, "Greetings and salutations." Just catching up. He said this a few minutes ago. This looks like it's going to be great tonight. It was going to be great just as it was scheduled. Once we turned on the live button, it was starting to be great. So there we go. Divine Right says, love that perfect level of information. Divine Right also says, hello, Food Plane. Since Divine Right is a food truck queen, by the way, on Mediascope. So, there you go. It says, love that show about the obstacles. Yes, I got that right. We have Dr. Tachi people, Girl Lexus. Aloha.
Hey, Girl Lexus. All the way from Honolulu, Hawaii.
There you go. Divine Right says, School Days came out in 1988. Crazy, right? Right? And Girl Alexa says, still at work listening. That is so, hey, thank you so much. That is so huge. And also on the Instagram side, Instagram side, Birdie Lynn, HBCUs, love them. So thanks for saying that. And Aaron, the artist, all the way from England, has chimed in. I believe you're in England. I believe you are. No, you're not. It's a different Aaron. I have a relative in Aaron that lives in England. So Aaron, the artist, thank you for chiming in. I have a point to bring out. The media, most of it is not controlled by us. So is it interesting to see what messages celebrity couples or relationships we get to see outside of the social media realm, but just on traditional television and traditional media, the messages that we get that they want to make our business. Just a thought. Anyone want to touch?
I think that's interesting. I think there is an agenda here, and that brings me back to Will and Jada. And I wonder if this sort of alternative lifestyle is the big agenda. Not to say that I'm not making my opinion about alternative lifestyles. Everybody can live the life of which they feel comfortable living. It's not my, position to judge any of that. However, putting that aside, I wonder if there is an agenda, because whenever you want to change culture or change the way we think about things, it has to go through Black people. Black people got to put their stamp of approval on it. And so I wonder about this that's how it's been in the past. So I'm wondering if this big thing now is just this sort of alternative way of being that's embedded in Hollywood, because Hollywood is just in its own little bubble by itself. People, we are like us, we call it Holly weird.
Yes,
right?
Holly weird.
Call it Holly weird. But it's a theme that I'm seeing with a lot of Black sanctioned celebrities, that they have this sort of alternativeness. And you see it on TV all the time. And I wonder if there's just programming. Maybe that's why it's called the program, right? There's this programming of us to see family, to see marriage, to change the trajectory of, all of these sort of values for whatever it is, into this sort of like new category. And so it gets me to wondering what's the bigger sort of agenda here, us talking about it and us bringing up over and over again, this sort of alternative way that Will and Jada have now been sitting in for quite some time, talking about how quite comfortable they are. Yeah, it's been like this for a long time with a lot of couples, but why now and why should they talk about it? So I do wonder about this bigger agenda. What are they putting forward into making us look at and become more accepting of things? That's just sort of my thing too, the agenda behind it. Yeah.
Before Dr. Tachi adds on to this, just wanted to catch up on comments. Cass Lou says, my graduate school counselor encouraged me to do clinical versus administration concentration. It does happen, and understand that, Dr. Tachi. And Cash Lou says, undergraduate of an HBCU. All right. Dr. Tachi, continue the conversation.
Yeah, this whole thing of agendas is interesting. So as you were saying, yes, the majority of the mainstream media is not controlled by people of color at all.
But even social media too. Whether it's if you're
Yes,
including social
exactly.
media,
Any
yeah,
media,
okay,
any
right.
media, any major, we look at the quote unquote major mainstream platforms, whether it's traditional linear media or social media or digital, none of them are really controlled by people of color, right? At all. You could probably count on your fingers the few that do have control. Byron Allen, I'll wait for others. There are a few others. You know, Byron Allen is the big one that you think of when it comes to that, but he still doesn't even have control. So it is interesting, and I always teach this in like broadcast journalism, that every news outlet has a news agenda, right? That they push and put forward. So I think that the thing that we have to remember is that the television, newspaper, all of these media are fueled by what? Advertising. So if you don't have the news that people want to hear and people don't tune in and don't listen, there's no need for me to advertise by you because I am only interested in your eyeballs. I'm interested in what you're talking about insofar as I don't get canceled by people because I'm advertising next to a certain show. But I really am interested in eyeballs and them participating in service X or buying product YZ, right? That's all I'm interested in. And so, as such, if that's all they're interested in, right, everything else really is secondary, right? So, even though news stations, even though media has an agenda, that agenda is driven by a number of different things. In some cases, it's politics. In some cases, in most cases, not even most, all cases, it's advertising because advertising is what keeps the lights on and pays the bills. So I'm saying that today to say that indirectly and directly, advertising fuels the conversations that we hear being had. Does that make sense? So it's not anything that is within, it's not completely out of our control, but in a sense it is. So if you're on mainstream media and you want your message heard, it needs to be a message that the masses want to hear because then they won't watch and people will not advertise on our station. So again, what does it boil down to? Money. Money is the underlying factor as to what we hear.
Yeah, and I like what you're saying because the thing is I remember reading a story about soap operas, how soap operas got started. Here there's all these housewives sitting at home, and the soap people, the people who make soap products, they wanted to advertise to housewives. So the first thing they did was create soap operas so that they can have these dramatic, because they knew these women were home alone and they were thirsting for love, and they had all these dramatic, romantic, I want him, I want her, and all of this drama. But really what they were doing was selling soap. Was selling soap so housewives can go to the store and have soap. And they knew if they had something emotionally charged around it, that they could just basically penetrate that. And I think the biggest example of that also, the whole series of Mad Men, if anyone could see that whole series.
Yes.
Oh my God. It was all about, Mad Men is about Madison Avenue advertising company on Madison Avenue, and they were called Mad Men because they were on Madison Avenue and they were advertising. And he was just like, yeah, that's what we got to do. And that whole series was a wonderful illustration of like marketing and how things had to be just so yeah. I agree with you, Dr. Tachi.
Sorry to interrupt. I use that as an example in my media classes. I always
he's like, what are we selling? What are we selling? Happiness.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing. You're selling like everybody thinks it's about the product. I mean, and this ties into
the feeling.
You're selling the feeling. You're selling a lifestyle. So I'm not, just think about when people walk down the street with a Starbucks cup. It's not that it's the most delicious stuff on earth. In fact, their baked goods are bloody deplorable. If you ask me, you could go any place else. I'd rather go to my local coffee spot and get baked goods and tea and stuff there. But it's the lifestyle. It's a status symbol, right? It's that type of thing. So it's the same thing. Advertising is selling that lifestyle, is selling this. So advertising, these stories, you were talking about soaps and soap operas. Is this not soap opera worthy? Will and Jada, all of these things. That's exactly what it is. And instead of selling soap, we're selling tax services and all sorts of other things now as a group. So it's the same thing. You hit it on the head. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. More comments coming here. Yeah, I'm glad that. So we got some people here. Lysandra, another.
Hey, Lysandra.
There we go. Saying hello. Cash Lou says some market for money, although need to operate, and it is important that there needs to be some more agendas on social change and positive initiatives over the mission of getting bag in greed. All right.
That's
and
very
then
nice.
Yes. And the food plane says the psychology of marketing. I find that fascinating. And then, we got that. And Castro also says intentions and who supports and where it comes from have to be aware of the message they are pushing and intentions. So again, that bigger agenda play. I'm going to shut it down on Instagram right now. So thanks for everybody who watched on Instagram. If you want to catch the beginning or the whole thing, go to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourselves grace. Thank you. God bless. All right, let's continue it on with this conversation. Someone was going to say something and I rudely interrupted.
No, that's okay. No, because you had to. And now I forgot what I was going to say. What was the last thing that you said before you were going to cut it off? Do you remember?
I just said that the agenda part of it, and I think so if you go a little bit deeper, the advertisers, they do their market research on what we like. So it gets back to that old thing: is it what the people want, or is it what the media is driving that the people will eventually like?
So is art imitating life, or is life imitating art?
Right. And well, this is what you always hear. If you build it, they will come. Mm-hmm. And even if they don't come initially, they'll convince you that you need this. And so you'll come anyway at some point. Look at and I keep thinking about that. Literally in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, every time I leave the house, seriously, because sometimes it may be a while before I drive someplace because I work from home. So if I drive like down Federal Highway, I say, wait a minute, this luxury apartment building wasn't here before, because the thought process is if you build it, people will come. Never mind. Go ahead.
So here's another great example of celebrity relationships. Kanye and Kim.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But like
the both of them make the back of my neck itch. Oh. But Dr. Alicia, go ahead, because I know you have something you want to say.
And Dr. Alicia, depending what she knows a little about Mr. Kanye, but I'm just gonna if she wants to share anything.
Wait, what's the question? Where am I?
Okay, so we're talking about celebrity relationships. Kanye and Kim. I knew.
So I really did think he was a lost soul. I think he's found himself a little more now that he's gotten married. That's my impression, and I think that I wish him well. I wish him well, and I hope it ends well for him. I hope that he will take understand himself, get some, just know how he is seen, how he comes across to people, this self-awareness that I think he needs to develop. And you can't do that when you're struggling with mental health issues that's gone untreated for such a long time. And I hope that he can find himself and be content and love himself. I really do wish him the best. He's a soul. He's a sweet soul. He's He's soft.
There's another example of celebrity putting his message out and making it our business for those who chose for it to
He
make it
just
their
didn't have any filter. Like his is another thing. His was very reactive. Like as it was happening in the moment, he just was putting it out there because he didn't have anybody grounding him. And there was no one like keeping him grounded. And the people, he has a very loving and supportive family that doesn't seek out. He doesn't have it within himself to seek out the people in his life who absolutely love him and want the best for him. For some reason, all of that was shattered in his head, which is a sign of you struggling emotionally with things. So, I mean, until any of that gets repaired, he'd have an issue and he would instantly go to Instagram and Twitter, and he would just, he didn't think at all about boundaries and how his children might look at some of these things. He just wasn't thinking about it at all. It was really sad. Mm-hmm.
So, and this is a whole other thing, so we don't have to get into it, but why is it? Because I do, and I understand what you're saying, and I agree, but I also don't give him a pass. I think people gave him way too many chances. He had a pet because at a point, just because you're just struggling with mental health issues doesn't mean you're not aware of what you're doing, and it doesn't mean that you're not aware that it has an effect on other people. But I think people just kind of, oh, you Kanye. I think they just kind of kept putting it off. And why did we accept that kind of destructive behavior from him, but not Cheeto Satan, or some people will call him 45? Equally as destructive.
They were really, I don't think anything that Kanye West did, he should be, these are the consequences to what happens, when you behave this way. When you don't if you don't want to get your mental health together, don't have a family. Just be by yourself. But you owe it to your family to really show up for them sound. And, you have choices to make. So when you choose to get married, you choose to have children, you owe it to them to really get this together so that you can be the best parent that you can to them, and the best spouse and the best co-parent at this point. He really needed to work on that. Now, Kim, she's got to look at the fact that she sure knows how to pick them, don't she? Someone's been married 4 times. And looking at her and Pete and stuff, and he had a lot of mental health. He had whatever mental health issues Kanye West had, Pete had it and then some. She went from the frying pan to the fire with him.
Right.
So,
and he deals with it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Not to interrupt, but he deals with it through comedy. And so, and Kanye dealt with it through music. So they all have their quote vices that helps them deal with the mental health issues. But is it really truly solving any problem or dealing with it effectively if you're not going to a professional to really? And I'm not saying they did not, but it feels like it's not adequately being dealt with. And Kimberly keeps falling into that trap. And that's something with her as well. Yeah. There's that whole family is interesting. I'll just say that. But yeah,
you know what? There's a lot of good stuff with that family. There's a lot of good stuff with Kanye too.
Do tell.
There's a lot of good stuff.
Tell. Yeah. Okay, so people will say, "Where's Dr. Alicia?" Well, she has her PhD in social work. She knows what she's talking about. So when people say, what's like Dr. Alicia? She knows what she's talking about.
We have to deconstruct.
She does.
We could deconstruct some of this stuff, and then we could see where, good grief, them ladies, that Kardashian family sure knows how to market. They sure know marketing. They sure know how to win. They winning.
Yes.
The Skims and all that stuff, those are just a bunch of winners. They know how to capitalize. I mean, there is something to be learned from that, but do they go far?
There's many things, and not something. There's many things to be learned.
Many things to learn from them.
Absolutely, and like you said, there are good things about that, because I actually went to NatP a few years ago, and there was a session with Kris Jenner. because she's so brilliant at marketing.
Mastermind.
She's a mastermind. So it's like, yeah, that's somebody that you want to learn from. You take whatever little fame that your silly daughter had from doing her indiscretions on film, and you spin that into millions of dollars. I see that. On the other end of that, they didn't attain all of that by themselves. They had a little help. So you already started ahead. So the thing I don't like is sometimes they act like they're self-made millionaires. And I'm like, according to who? So
the video Kim made about just work, just get off your bottom and work hard.
Yes, exactly. She said nobody wants to work, nor do you, witch. You don't either. Go sit down. So put on some Skims and go to sleep. No, you don't want to work either. You've never had to work. Let's be clear. And this is not to denigrate anybody's level of work. And I'm not saying that they don't work, but let me just be quiet because
no, you don't have to be quiet. You can do your thing.
When we see real work, those are the people that are working to support all of your businesses that you have. Those are the people working behind the scenes that you call and expect to drop everything and come to your aid. That is okay. Years ago, I did a story. This had to be about 5 years ago now, that I did a story on Mediascope where they were looking for an intern to they were offering an internship. The Kardashians were. So I said, okay, is this on the show? When you looked at the internship requirements, an internship meaning it's not paid, it's for school credit. It was things like pick up the girls from school or the kids or something like that. I'm like, that is not, as somebody who leads media internships, what are they learning from that?
Yeah,
maybe a little bit of that, but that's not. So there's this taking advantage of people, and I'm not saying with everybody, but from that description, I saw what your MO was. So don't talk to me about work when you're trying to get some poor intern to do your work. Sit down.
I think that's how Kim got started. Kim got started by she worked for Paris Hilton. Kim Kardashian worked for Paris Hilton. Okay. So she knows. She studied her. How brilliant is that? Studied Paris Hilton and basically duplicated what she did and then some. So that was really smart. Anyway.
All right.
Good for them.
Look at this. So Cash Lou's right into this conversation goes, fame and ego seemed after the loss of his mother, that foundation was pulled. Just my thought, talking about Kanye or whatever he calls himself. And
yay.
Lysandra, yay. I don't keep up. Lysandra says, I don't want to judge because life be lifing.
Yeah.
Life be lifing.
All right. Well, you know what? I think we're going to call it a conversation because both of you had long days. And I said, thank you for taking the time to share always. And anyways, any final words before we let you both go about celebrity relationships? Are there any of our business? Anyone have any final takes?
I'll go first. The time went by really fast, Dr. Vibe. I didn't even, I'm like, whoa, look at the time here. I will say that we got to stop looking up to these stars. We got to know that our light shines just as bright as theirs. And actually, they should look up. The type of day I had today and the hard work I put in today, they should look up to me. They should look up to me because I did a lot of work. And people like me, not just me, but people like me. I think us people, they need us. They need our eyes on them. And so I think that they really do need to take it, be responsible for the type of messages that you put out there. So that's what I'm going to say. We're just as big of a star. We need to stop looking up to these individuals. It's not as mysterious and as beautiful as we like to think. They're just regular people like us, like me and you. They may have a certain talent and that they get compensated for in a certain way. I have a talent. You have a talent. All of us have talents. We all get compensated in our own way, but we have to know that we're living every day in our purpose. And it's okay, no matter what the outcomes are, living in our purpose. And if you got a gift, You can get on YouTube, you can get on Instagram and TikTok and just share your gift to the world and just be about the gift, not about how many likes, not about how much money or sponsorships you can get. Just be about the message and help the community. That's my parting words.
Where can people get in touch with you? I thought two places, I think they're the two best, but if there's anything on top.
Yes. So if I resonate with you and you're interested in working with me, you can go to coachingwithdralicia.com, and you want to follow me and see all my crazy videos. I probably take clips from tonight and put it up there, and fun stuff that I like to do with my family. And you'll get some nuggets, like Dr. Vibe says, some nuggets of information. You can find me on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia.
Wonderful. Dr. Tachi.
Celebrities are people, and the reason they're on a pedestal is because we've put them there. So I think that's one thing that we have to remember, and that they need to remember too, that we can easily swipe that pedestal out from underneath them and they will come crashing to the ground. Not that that's anything that I wish for them, but I think they need to remember that they exist because we exist, right? I think we also need to lean in more to our own lives than the lives of the people that we don't know and may never know. I think it's okay to engage in celebrity talk and to follow show. I mean, we all do it, but at the end of the day, there is a real life that you have that you need to lean into more. I think that all of the entertainment industry and all of that, we need that. So I'm not trying to say that, it's just that they need us. We need that too. They provide an outlet for us from the humdrum lives that some of us live, that you can go to social media, you can turn on the television or listen to a podcast and come away from wherever it is you are, even if it's just for a little bit. So the point is, it's reciprocal. They need us to survive, but they are also providing a service to us, and it is important. Just don't put them on that pedestal where they're all important, because they're people just like you.
And where can people get a hold of you, Dr. Tachi?
Oh, yes. You can find me on Instagram at Dr._Tachi. That's probably the best way to reach out to me. But we are getting ready to launch really soon Indie Soup Media, the heart of the independent content creator. So yes, indiesoupmedia.tv. So
it's TV. Let me correct that.
Yeah. It's indiesoupmedia.tv.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
What?
.com will take you nowhere.
Ouch.
No worries.
Ouch.
No worries.
Sorry.
So, indiesoupmedia.tv, and you can see what we're all about. And if you're interested in don't worry about it. If you're interested in becoming a creator on the platform, there's a form that you can fill out, and we can talk.
I feel so bad.
No, why? If you go there, there's nothing there, so don't even worry about it. It's fine.
People, I don't want people to go there. Oh, what's Dr. Vibe talking? He led me to a dead end. I feel bad.
No, don't worry about it.
That's why I put the Instagram first. So hopefully they'll go to the Instagram first. All right. Yes. Few last comments before I let both of you wonderful ladies go, because a lot of people have a lot of positive to say. Oh, hold on. Let me just get it here. I'm waiting. Okay, here we go. Lysandra. Claps ovation. All right. Food Plane says amen to that. Cass Lou says this. This was a great discussion. Messages matter. We are all just ordinary people, thinking of the John Legend song. Fitness IQ Cam says, lovely conversation. I will rewatch, not rewatched. Cass Lou says, I will. Definitely follow Dr. Boyce as well as Dr. Tachi and Dr. Alicia. Great show, Dr. Vibe. They were the stars. Castu also says definitely goes both ways. Agree. Frequency event promotion says we need each other, but at the same time, the individual needs to empower oneself on an ongoing basis. And finally, he said frequency event says wholesome conversation. Thank you, ladies, as always. Thank you for taking time out of your positive, productive schedules. Remember, to you, your family, and loved ones, and to Dr. Boyce, too.
I'll let 'em know.
Yeah. So don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourselves grace. And we will chat soon. God bless, peace, well, and keep the faith. Take care. Take care, Dr. Tachi. Have a good one. Indie Soup rules. All right. We are here. So finally, we are signing off. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching the conversation. So before we finish up, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show, especially on YouTube, and hit the notification button. Also follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. To advertise your business, product, or service on the platform, please email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. You can watch replays of the epic conversations on my website, the drvibeshow.com. Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, The Dr. Vibe Show, X/Twitter at drvibeshow, and then Instagram at the drvibeshow.com. That's how you can get in touch with me, and this is how you can get the replays. The Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the website address. So we're going to shut it down. Thank you, everyone, for watching. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember to give yourselves grace, and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. God bless, peace, well, keep the faith, and walk good. You